News Wrap. I am Siddharth Gulati and I'm going to bring you all the latest updates that made the headlines on different newspapers and on various digital platforms. So as always, as it has been our usual drill, let's just begin with some cricket news. Well, if you need run overseas as far as the Indian cricket team is concerned, you don't really have to go that far. Just need to make one call, and that's to Kannauр Lokesh Rahul, because once again he has stepped up to the plate. Irrespective of his batting position, he has made sure that he has got those crucial runs for India yet again in another overseas test. Well, it's because of his 84-run knock in the ongoing third BGT test between India and Australia at the Brisbane in Gabba that India can probably manage to avoid the follow-on. And also, it's not only KL Rahul's contribution of 84, it's also Ravindra Jadeja's unbeaten 50 and Nitish Reddy's resilience that might just go on to make sure that Australia would probably be requiring to bat once again in the Gabba test. At the time of beginning of this live, there has been a current rain interruption. In fact, there have been multiple rain interruptions once again on the penultimate day of the test. India are 180 for 6. They need another 66 runs to avoid the follow-on in response to Australia's 445 that they had scored in their first innings after being put into bat, courtesy Steve Smith and Travis Head's hundreds. Well, moving on, Australia have suffered another injury blow in the name of Josh Hazlewood. Well, remember, Josh Hazlewood had missed the Adelaide pink ball test due to a low-grade side strain, and now in the ongoing Brisbane test, well, he has suffered soreness in his calf. He could only manage to bowl 1 over on day 4 of the third test, and since then he has been off the field. He has been taken for the scans, and as far as his participation in the remaining Gabba test and the iconic Boxing Day test beginning December 26, well, his participation is currently under cloud. There's a good chance that he will miss that test, and what it would mean is that Australia might have to bring back Scott Boland, who took a magnificent 6-wicket haul the last time England toured down under for an Ashes. So maybe it's a like-for-like replacement, but then losing an experienced pro in Josh Hazlewood on any given day for an Australian team is going to be a big blow. Well, moving on, after both Virat Kohli and Shubman Gill couldn't get those big scores in the ongoing Gabba test, well, both had an extended net session during India's ongoing innings on day 4 of the third test here. Well, Virat, he batted for a long time, and so was the case with Shubman Gill. Well, it's pertinent to note here that both of them haven't really got going as far as the BGT is concerned. Kohli has gotten just one notable score, and that was a century that he got in the opening test in Perth. But Shubman Gill, ever since his return from the pink ball test, he hasn't really got going. He's got a couple of 20 or 30 odd, but then he's also looking for a big score. And just to make sure that they are ready if India do require to bat in the second innings, both of them are trying to get into the groove, not just in the Gabba test, but also in the 4th and the 5th test of the BGT. Well, moving on, well, New Zealand have managed to give Tim Southee a winning farewell after registering a crushing 423-run win over England in the third and final test of the 3-match series. Well, remember, England had already taken an unassailable 2-0 lead after winning the opening 2 test matches, but then New Zealand, they won the third match rather comfortably, and they managed to seal that consolatory victory. Well, Tim Southee, he did well in his final match also, and overall he has turned out to be one of New Zealand's best fast bowlers of all time, and it was courtesy Kane Williamson's 100 and Mitchell Santner's 4-wicket haul in the second innings that made sure that New Zealand earned a win at Seddon Park in Hamilton. We are going to do a very crisp video as far as what were the important numbers of the third test between New Zealand and England, and that's going to be up on Sports Today very shortly. Well, moving on, Daren Sammy has now become West Indies' all-format coach. He's going to take charge of the Test team from April 1st, 2025. Well, he had been appointed West Indies' white ball captain in 2023. That is obviously last year. And ever since then, West Indies' graph in ODIs and T20Is has been on a rise. They defeated England and UAE in multiple ODI series. For that matter, even Bangladesh also. Bangladesh once, UAE once, and England twice. And even in the T20Is also, they sealed series win against India, South Africa. For that matter, even they reached the Super 8 of the 2024 T20 World Cup. So their graph is obviously rising. They are doing well under Sammy, and that's where Cricket West Indies have decided to promote him, and he's going to take charge of the Test team early next year. Well, also there are question marks over Harmanpreet Kaur's participation in the second T20I between India and West Indies. That's going to take place today evening at Navi Mumbai, where Harmanpreet's knee was heavily strapped during the opening T20I. She has reportedly suffered a knee niggle, and a final call on her participation will be taken just before the beginning of the match. And if she's indeed ruled out, then Smriti Mandhana is going to lead India in Harmanpreet's absence. India are currently 1-0 up in the 3-match series. They had won the opening T20I at Navi Mumbai only by a comfortable 49-run margin. Well, I don't really have a newspaper in my hand because I have to hold this gun mic, but then I do remember what the newspapers really had to say as far as those important updates are concerned. Well, Gukesh has finally arrived in India, and he has given an interview to one of the reputed newspapers and said that he still has a scope for improvement as far as his chess game is concerned. Well, remember, if a world chess champion, comes up with such kind of a statement, and still at a very young age, it goes on to show the kind of humbleness that Gukesh has as a person and even as a professional also. And one more update as far as Gukesh is concerned, that he's going to face Magnus Carlsen, former multiple-time chess champion, in Norway Chess, a tournament that's going to take place in May 2025. Also, there's one more cricket update, that Rohan Jaitley has been elected as the re-elected as the DDCA chief once again. So that's about it as far as the morning wrap is concerned. Stay tuned to Sports Today, as we'll bring you all the latest updates and analysis from the sporting world, be it BGT, Formula 1, football, tennis, or any of the other sports. We'll keep you posted with those interesting stories. Until then, on behalf of my producer Pawan, it's Siddharth Gulati saying goodbye. And don't go anywhere, because very shortly we are going to bring you an interesting video of the interesting numbers of the New Zealand versus England third test that recently finished at Seddon Park in Hamilton.